How are you feeling, Freedom Church Online? My name is Mark. Man, I'm so grateful to be here with you guys today, and I'm honored to be on this team, and I am a little bit biased. I will openly admit this, but I think Freedom Church has one of the best teams on the planet. Come on, high five someone at your house. Tell them how awesome they are. You guys are just incredible. From Bel Air to Rising Sun, Middle River to Nairobi, you guys are killing it. The way that you love and you serve others, it is inspiring me personally right now. I mean, from that ridiculously creative student night on Friday night, what? All the way to the Emmy-nominated JK show. Hey, right? Freedom Kids has the humble pie challenge going. You have my kid cleaning the table. I love you. I love you, Freedom Kids, right? And I cannot wait this week. We get college night, first Saturday prayer on Saturday. It is going to be phenomenal. And at the heart of it all is because you guys are so generous. You're so generous and compassionate. In fact, I heard one person say how when they showed up at the Rising Sun campus on Wednesday to drop off their donated goods for the buy one, get one drive, that they had to wait in line to drop them off. Come on, Rising Sun, way to show up. All of our campuses showing up. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you. Thank you for having that heart of compassion to donate, provide meals for families that are being affected right now. Because the truth that all of us know is that all of us are being affected, right? All of us. And it may look different, and it may feel a little different, and it makes it seem complex. But really, it's pretty simple, right? It's pretty simple. Every single one of us needs something right now. Look at that person sitting beside you at home and say, you need something, right? We need something. And we may feel isolated because of our need, but in reality, we are connected because of our need. You may feel isolated, but really it is connecting all of us at a deeper level right now. In fact, there's a story, this incredible story in Mark chapter 5. And we're going to go through the whole story, read through this passage together, verses 21 through 43, where these two people that seem so different, so disconnected, discover the truth. Mark starts out the story like this. He says, when Jesus had again crossed over by boat to the other side of the lake, a large crowd gathered around him while he was by the lake. Just imagine it. Jesus has just returned from setting a guy free from his personal demons, right? Like this guy restoring him from isolation into community, from pain into purpose. And now he has shown up, and the moment he steps out of this boat, this crowd just like surrounds him. And it doesn't say it, but I can imagine, and you can probably imagine it, that every person there showed up for a reason, right? They needed something, healing or peace or protection or truth or provision. It's like all of us right now. All of us. We've shown up today because you need something, because you feel that something is missing, and it's more than a routine. We all need something from Jesus. And you either know or you may have heard that he is the one, possibly the only one that can provide it. And so from this crowd that gathers around Jesus, one guy pushes his way through and gets to the front. And it says, then one of the synagogue leaders named Jairus came, and when he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet. And you cannot rush through this moment, because you have to understand Jairus was the guy that led in worship. And probably he had ties to the Pharisees who didn't like Jesus very much. For Jairus to fall at the feet of Jesus, it was this radical act of surrender, a sign of respect and worship. And everyone that he knew and everyone that he led was watching him. And there at the feet, he begins to plead, Mark says. He pleaded earnestly with him. My little daughter is dying. Please come, Jesus, please, and put your hands on her so that she will be healed and live. Any parents been here before? Have you been here? That moment, that gut-wrenching feeling of watching your kid struggle and you're just not able to help. My wife Sherilyn and I, we were there with our daughter, teenage daughter now, Lily, when she was only 18 months old. And for a week, we had to sit beside her in a hospital room. 7 days of waiting and wondering and praying and frustration and feeling hopeless and desperate. Have you been there praying and praying and praying? Maybe for you right now, it's not a sick loved one, but it's a situation that just feels outside of your control. And as much as you want to make it better, you just feel incapable of doing so. It may be your work status right now, or your marriage, or your mental health anxiety that just won't lift, or you're just waking up fighting mad. But you have to know that desperation is the door that breakthrough walks through. Come on, somebody. Desperation is the door that breakthrough walks through. And so Jesus, it says, went with him. And we love this verse, kind of. Like we love all the feels of the beginning part of it. So Jesus went with him. Oh, it's going to be okay. Jesus is coming. Jesus is going to make it all right? You feel it just kind of like lift off of you. And I'm going to use an example right now. It's a great example, but it's going to hurt. It feels too soon. It's too fresh for some of you. Just get ready. You ready? Here we go. It's like that feeling that all of us Ravens fans had at the end of last season. The hope, the expectation, the excitement, and then the Titans. Oh, right? From confidence to confusion, like you still feel the weight. Don't worry. We're talking about healing today. It is gonna be okay, right? And so in this one verse, we feel this range of emotion. So Jesus went with him, but then this large crowd followed, pressed in around him. And as that crowd presses in, it says a woman who was there who had been the subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all that she had. Yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. Wait, what? Hold up. Like we're in the middle of Jairus' moment. Jesus is on the way to his house. Where did this lady come from? Well, like she feels like an interruption. It's disconnected. What could they possibly have in common? From the jump, he's a man and she's a woman. Hello, talk about differences. Dude, don't do it. Don't look at your wife right now, bro. Eyes on the screen, right? Jairus is named in the story, but the Bible never even gives us her name. Jairus is this leader in the local church, but she can't come near the synagogue because her sickness makes her unclean. Jairus is honored and respected, but she's shamed and rejected. Jairus probably has a little bit of coin in the bank, but she is broke. She spent everything that she had on possibilities that only made it worse. And from first glances, it seems like they have nothing, absolutely nothing in common. But watch how life has put them both in the same exact place, in the same posture. We've all felt it the last few weeks, haven't we? How life has this uncanny way of just evening the playing field. Life will hit you with stuff that your money can't fix. Life will hit you with stuff that your friends can't fix. Your Instagram status can't fix. Your degrees, your sex appeal. It will put you on lockdown and a house full of snacks. The only PR you're hitting right now is on the bathroom scale. Preach! Right? I feel you, bro. Life will hit you with something that just takes your breath away, something that you can't handle. And Jairus and this woman, they both find themselves walking through the same doorway of desperation. And it feels complex. But Jesus makes it simple. I am the way and the truth and the life. And so Mark says, when she heard about Jesus, maybe like you heard about Jesus, and you showed up to Freedom Church Online for the very first time this morning, saying, I wonder what is all about. What really does he have to offer? It says she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak because she thought, if I just touch his clothes. Then I will be healed. It seems like nothing in common, as both are driven by desperation on a different path to the same destination, Jesus. And they both had to get a little cray-cray, right? They both had to be bold. They had to ignore what the crowd thought about them. They had to push it aside and do something they had never done to get something miraculous. You see, when you're desperate, you'll approach God from a new perspective. Come on, somebody. Right? Desperation, it will change you. In fact, what I've been learning in this season of life is that desperation will push you into your purpose. Desperation will drive you into your destiny. The storm of desperation brings both Jairus and this woman to the feet of Jesus. And that's the picture for all of us right now. Desperation has delivered us to the same spot. And regardless of what brought you here, regardless of what brings you here today, all of us are at the feet of Jesus. This woman, faceless and unseen. Maybe that's how you've been feeling. Faceless, unseen. In the crowd, it says, she reaches out with a trembling hand to touch Jesus. And immediately, her bleeding stopped. And she felt in her body. She felt something inside begin to shift. That she was freed. She was freed from her suffering. And at once Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. And he turned around in the crowd and he asked, "Who touched my clothes?" Jesus stops. Jesus, you can't stop. Like this is 911. You're responding to an emergency, Jesus. Don't you remember? Jairus' daughter, you're headed to his house. She is seriously ill. And Jairus, I can just imagine him, right? Ahead of Jesus, leading Jesus to his house, pushing the crowd out of the way, trying to keep Jesus moving, feeling more hopeful with every step. Jairus is singing, right? Building up his faith. Some of you guys have been singing, Waymaker, Miracle Worker. Come on, sing it with me right there at your living room. Promise, keep light in the dark, right? Man, already, Jairus is picturing it. Like he's so excited, he cannot wait. He just sees what's going to feel like, what's going to look like when Jesus gets to his house. Then he hears Jesus' voice walking ahead of him. It seems like it's Jesus a little bit farther back than he should have been. He's not as close as he should be. And Jairus turns around and he sees Jesus stopped, facing the crowd behind him. The disciples are frustrated, right? Look at somebody say, frustrated. Jesus, who touched you? Like you see the people crowding against you? His disciples answered. And yet you can ask, who touched me? Everybody, Jesus, everybody is touching you, right? They probably were feeling like I have been feeling the last few days with my 9-year-old son, Jude. Personal space is a myth. It does not exist. And I cannot remember if it ever did. But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it, Mark says. Listen, Jesus never stops looking. Jesus never stops looking. No matter what the other voices say, no matter what seems true, no matter if it's a lost coin, a lost sheep, or a lost son, Jesus never stops looking. The woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet, and trembling with fear, told him the whole truth. And this woman, probably thinking that she might be killed, pushes back through the crowd, not to get anything this time, but to give something this time, to share her story, her testimony. And as the oohs and the ahs begin to echo from the crowd, she tells them the whole truth, the whole story. And Jairus, just see him there. Jairus is standing there, waiting Cool story, bro. Can we go now? Right? Like, come on. Nope. Jairus, pull up a chair. It is a lady, and she's sharing the whole story. Tension, building in Jairus. And God makes him wait. Stay still. But this is an emergency. This is crisis Jesus. He had to watch. He had to watch her get her miracle while he is still waiting on his. It's frustrating to wait, isn't it? It's frustrating. And if it's not frustrating enough just waiting on your miracle, you have to watch someone else get theirs. You got that fake church smile on your face as you click like on that post. You're unsure of your financial future, but they just bought a house. You're waiting and trying to have a baby as you watch the endless stream of their Instagram pics of theirs. Waiting for that husband as you open the wedding invitation from another friend. Waiting. Jairus is waiting. Notifications blowing up. Hashtag Jesus heals. Hashtag won't he? Won't he do it? And Jairus is like, Jesus, what are you doing? Jesus, what are you doing? But Jesus needs Jairus to hear something. He needs Jairus to hear someone else's story, someone else's testimony for a reason. It says that Jesus looks at her and he said to her, daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering. Jairus had faith to ask Jesus, come to my house and touch my daughter so she can be healed. But this woman had faith that if I just touch his robe, I will be healed. Sometimes we want Jesus to make a house call, but he wants us to learn that all we have to do is to reach out. Come on, somebody, right? We have faith, but what if we understood the power of his authority? Jairus listens to this woman's story, listens to her testimony of how for 12 years she suffered. For 12 years, she spent all that she had. 12 years she waited, but just touching Jesus released his power, anointing, and healing her in her life. Allowing someone else's story, allowing their faith of their testimony to spark your faith, to believe that the same God that did it for them is willing and able to do it for you, right? He's no respecter of persons. It's true. It's so true. But sometimes our expectation is off. We attach a flawed perspective to the promise. God will do it the same way for me that he did it for you. He blessed you with a house. He's going to bless me with a house with the same square footage in the same neighborhood. No, he'll do it for you, but it won't be in the same way. And that's why we have to stop comparing ourselves to other people. Jairus and this woman both wanted the same thing, healing. Like all of us are coming with the same need, Jesus. And it says, while Jesus was speaking, some people came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader, and told him, your daughter is dead, they said. Why bother the teacher anymore? You feel it? The weight of a single moment. Hope crushed. Can we be honest? Jairus, he had some bad friends. Like he has the worst friends ever. Not because they told him a hard truth, but because the opinions that they added to it. Why? Jairus, why bother the teacher anymore? It's too late, Jairus. It's time to just give up. Just quit. You got to watch out for the people in your life that are so quick to tell you to give up on the dream that God gave you, right? The promise that he made you, the word that he spoke into your heart. How are you going to tell me to give up? This isn't your daughter. This isn't your dream. This isn't your destiny. Come on, somebody. You know right now the magnitude of voices swirling through our lives and the complexity of the opinions. But there is one voice. There is one voice right now speaking the simple truth that you need to hear and that I need to hear. It says, overhearing what they said, Jesus told him, don't be afraid, just believe. And Jairus standing there, just unsure, lost. Jesus grabs him by the hand. Jairus, don't be afraid. Come on, Jairus, just believe. And Jesus chooses to do the miracle where Jairus asked him to, his house. Come on, Jairus, I know where you live. Before, it was Jairus leading Jesus. But now, it's Jesus leading Jairus, saying, come on, just follow me. And maybe Jesus began to sing this time as he's leading Jairus. Even when you don't see it, I'm working. Even when you don't feel it, I'm working. I never stop working. Somebody call Kanye. Tell him I'm ready for the choir. What? He says Jesus said he did not let anyone follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. And when they came to the home of the synagogue leader, Jesus saw a commotion. He saw the chaos. But chaos does not affect the one in control of it all. Come on, somebody. With people crying and wailing loudly, he went in to the middle of it. And he said to them, why all this commotion and wailing? The child is not dead, but asleep. But they laughed at him, Mark said. They laughed. Who are they? The negative, doubting, unbelieving people in the room. You know those people. You know those people. Those people that light up the room when they walk out. Those people that for every solution will find a problem. That's the they. And it says after he, talking about Jesus, put them all out. Jesus put them out. In fact, the Greek suggests that he physically forced them out. And I don't want to jack up your Jesus meme, like because you think he's just too kind and sweet and loving and caring. He is. But don't get it twisted. He's a little gangster too. Jesus is the real OG, original God. What? All those negative, unbelieving people, all the ones in there doubting, they're just messing up the atmosphere for the supernatural. He transforms the complex to simple, get out. You gotta go, bye-bye, right? After, Mark said, after he put them all out, he took the child's father and mother and the disciples who were with them and went in where the child was. And he took her by the hand and he said to her, Talitha Kumai, which means little girl, I say to you, get up. What if, come on, hear me right now, this moment, Freedom Church. What if the power of the miracle is not just in the miracle itself, but rather in the atmosphere of the environment that surrounds your miracle? Possibly, we've been looking at all these things in our life, all this stuff, all this chaos, all this commotion, and trying to tell the things that seem to be dying to get up. But this is actually the season of our life to start checking your environment and start telling some things to get out. Maybe the first thing we have to do for our miracle that feels so complex is to say, get out, to simplify the situation. Immediately, the girl, come on, Mark said immediately the girl stood up and began to walk around. She was 12 years old, and they were completely astonished. Wait, what? Hold up, wait a minute, put a little Jesus in it. You got to read that again. Immediately, the girl stood up and began to walk around, and she was, look at the commentary, she was 12 years old. The Bible just went all, this is us, flashback moment, right? what on the surface seemed so disconnected, what felt like an interruption, Mark flashes back 12 years to the beginning of their story. 12 years ago, she was born. 12 years ago, she became sick. An excited, hopeful couple welcoming a beautiful baby girl into the world as another woman's world is shattered with a diagnosis of disease. Tears of joy to tears of heartache. Both so preoccupied with their moment, one with promise, one with pain, leaving them oblivious to those around them. Leaving them oblivious to those that they really need. That's why Paul challenges us in this moment from Romans 12. Be happy with those who are happy and weep with those who weep. We might find ourselves across a spectrum of emotions and feelings and situations today, but the truth is simple. We are in this together. We are in this together. That we have the same need, regardless of the journey that we took to get here. We need Jesus. We need Jesus. All of us need Jesus, and Jesus has chosen us for this moment. The promise of Ephesians 1 says, and this is the plan. This is the plan. At the right time, he will bring everything together under the authority of Christ. Everything in heaven and on the earth. And furthermore, because we are united with Christ, we have received, each and every one of us, an inheritance from God. For he chose us, he chose me, he chose you in advance. And he makes everything work according to what? His plan. His plan. This is the woman's testimony. This is Jairus' testimony. This is my testimony. This is your testimony. Or it can be right now. Right now. You can make the decision to trust Jesus with the direction of your life. Regardless of the complexity that surrounds you. Regardless of the confusion, regardless of the chaos, the simple truth is Jesus loves you. He loves you. He's never stopped looking for you. With the decision from your heart, the decision from your heart right now, and the prayerful confession from your mouth. Come on, just pray with me. Jesus, I believe you are my healer. I ask you to become my Savior. And I trust you right now as the Lord of my life, as I give you all control and direction for my life. I place my full trust in you, Jesus Christ alone. Man, if you just prayed that prayer with us, in a few minutes, you're going to be able to click the connection card. But right now, throw a comment in. Let us know so we can celebrate with you that you just made the best decision of your life to know the miracle of salvation, the miracle that your name is recorded in heaven. Paul goes on saying, now, he is far above any ruler or authority or power or leader or anything else. Not only in this world, but also in the world to come. God has put all things under the authority of Christ Jesus and has made him head over all things for the benefit of who? Us, the church. And the church is his body. And it is made what? Full and complete by Christ, who fills all things everywhere with himself. Come on, Freedom Church. Pray with me right now. In your home, I believe that your home is no different than the home of Jairus. Jesus does miracles in homes. Pray right now, Jesus, we believe. that you hold all authority. And it is through your faith, our faith in you, that transfers God's righteousness to us. And he now declares that we are flawless in his eyes. And it means that we can enjoy true and lasting peace, all because of what Jesus has done for us. So we say to the sickness, get out. To the fear, get out. To the anxiety, get out. To the anger and frustration, get out. God has rewrote our story. We will testify that you are not done. It is not over. What you have started, you are faithful to finish. Greater things are still to come. Come on, Freedom Church.
Greater things are still to come. Yes,